Welcome to another episode on our channel, and we're doing the Green Hornet today. In the next episode, we're going to do Kato and show you them together. And you're probably looking at this guy right now and saying, well, there's not enough green on him. And I would say, originally, yeah, that's true. He doesn't have enough green on him. I actually had the Green Hornet and Kato before, and I decided to sell them way back when. And, you know, it's one of those stories where you sell something and then you suddenly regret it, and then you kind of forget about it, and then you start thinking about it again, and then you decide, I do want to make the Green Hornet and Kato again. And the reason why it came to me to do it again is, for the longest time, I didn't see the head I had used previously. It was the perfect head. And it disappeared from off of eBay. I would periodically look for it. Again, that regret sinking back in. I sold it, and it was the perfect head for this character. And now I'm not seeing it. I haven't seen it for years. And then all of a sudden, more recently, I start seeing that head. And I go, oh, I'm going to do this again. All right. So the way I had done it before was I used Captain Action outfits of Kato and Green Hornet to make the Green Hornet and Kato. And that comes with a pair of black pants. The problem with this black pants, though, is it fits in the upper part of the body, but it's too short for this figure. So the pants ride high. Comes with a white shirt, Captain Action. Comes with a black necktie. It comes with not this color green, because I had to use fabric paint. It was a hunter green, which I didn't like. So I changed the color. And then I realized this is too light, but I didn't have a darker color. And actually started scanning the internet. I'll get to that in a second, but let me tell you what else was in that package. Black socks and black shoes, kind of glassy shoes. And it came with the mask and the hat and also weapons and other accessories. But when I saw the Kato and the Green Hornet sets in boxes that this guy was selling, I didn't want the accessories. They were too cheesy looking to me. So I asked the guy, would he be willing to sell me just the outfits of the two characters for such and such a price? I don't need the boxes. And so he was willing to do that. He was just the greatest seller. And he was willing to do it, wanted to make sure he got it right, and sent me exactly what I wanted. And I paid him not too bad money, not as much as he was asking for with the boxes, but he would have lost money too with shipping and handling and that 13.5% fee, you know, and it's so much cheaper to send something when it's just a few items. I mean, it's a fraction of the cost. You're going to make more money that way and maybe sell the accessories on their own. You don't have to worry about the status of the box. I'm not interested in the box, don't need it. I just want to make a Green Hornet figure. So the original Green Hornet figure I had the Captain Action outfit, as did Kato. That's the only 1/6 size clothing you're going to find that's close to the Green Hornet until something happened. So when I redid the jacket, I could redo it again, make it darker still, but it's still not a very good looking jacket. Not from my perspective. Not sophisticated. And I kind of thought the Green Hornet to me looked sophisticated on his show. So I started looking at more photographs on the internet of the Green Hornet and Kato. And I noticed something in several of the photos that were colored photographs. I noticed that in some of the photographs, the Green Hornet and Kato were wearing black. Now, Kato's outfit was a little more black than the Green Hornet's black outfit, but they were both black. You could see the green in the mask, but it wasn't this god-awful hunter green. It was more of a subdued green, which I repainted the mask to capture that look. And so the moral of the story is when you do a little more research, you find, yeah, there was a different outfit that he wore at times. He did have the green outfit, but at times he had not a hunter green outfit, but a more sophisticated green, darker outfit. And at times he had black. And it's interesting because when I did a Google search, after I saw the photographs, I wrote the question, did the Green Hornet ever wear a black outfit? And it said no. And I went like, well, that doesn't line up with the photographs I'm starting to see. And so I typed in, did the Green Hornet wear a dark outfit ever? And then it said yes. Sometimes it would be black. I'm going like, okay, I guess it depends on how you ask the question. After all was said and done, I am happy that I sold my original Green Hornet and Kato figures, because if I had not, I never would have come across the photos I did come across, and I wouldn't have created this version of the Green Hornet, which I love 100 times better than the original one. I was able to get the same head because I started seeing it pop up on eBay again. So I'm doubly happy. I've got the look I want now. But if you want more of the hunter green look, again, this is not hunter green. I repainted this. But if you do want the hunter green look, and you can find a smaller, shorter body, like a dragon or something even smaller still, then Captain Action, especially if you want the accessories. That's what you need to look for, Captain Action. But for me, no. He's going to have a proper black suit on with a long coat. He's going to have... Now, the only thing that is Captain Action you have to have is the mask and the hat. So I could have gotten it cheaper still if the guy was willing to bargain to that extent. I doubt if he would have, because, you know, just to sell the mask and hat might not have been worth it to him. But what I'll do with this stuff is I'll barter it away, because I'm not going to use it. He looks so much better this way. Anyway, a lot of story there, but I'm glad you bore with me. This is the look that thrills me. And what we'll do is we'll pause now and get some closer shots from his feet all the way up to the top of his head. We'll be right back. So he has black dress shoes on. He's got black pants. And as we move up, we'll see his overcoat coming into view. You'll see his jacket, his vest, and then eventually we'll see his white shirt and black tie. And of course his mask, head sculpt, and hat. There you go. So here is the Green Hornet with the black outfit on. We'll just go side to side. And I'm actually really glad I got rid of the other two before. He looks so much better in this outfit than he did in the original outfit from Captain Action. So we'll get a close-up of his head sculpt now. We're going to do two close-ups of the head sculpt, one with the mask on and the hat on, and one without. And I think you'll understand why I love this particular head for the Green Hornet. All right, we'll be right back. And here it is, the head sculpt without the mask or the hat on. And if you look at pictures of Van Williams, you'll see that this is pretty darn close. All right, we'll be right back. Surprisingly, I couldn't find accurate information about how many siblings Van Williams had, because apparently there are two Van Williams, one with his spelling, V-A-N, and then another Van Williams who was, his first name was spelled V-A-N-N. So he either had one brother and three sisters, or two brothers and four sisters. But I couldn't find information about his mother other than her name. His father, all I know is that he was a cattle rancher. And at one point in time, somewhere along the way in his early adulthood years, Van Williams had some disagreements about how the ranch should be run, disagreements with his father. And he left and went to Hawaii, of all places. He got married, had two twin daughters. Eventually they divorced. I believe after 3 years he remarried. He had two daughters and a son with the second marriage, and they stayed together until he died. So that was a long commitment. I think it was 1959 to 2016. But in Hawaii, he was a diving instructor, and that's how he got noticed by some producer. And the guy said, you should act, but get your college degree first, which he did. He ended up getting a business admin degree, and then he took a shot at acting. He was in, I think the first thing he was in was called Bourbon Street Beat. I have no idea what that show was about. And then there was Surfside 6. Again, I have no idea about what that was about, except it probably had something to do with surfing. And then he was in the Green Hornet. Oh, no. Before that, The Tycoon. Then the Green Hornet. And that only lasted for one season, surprisingly. I thought it lasted longer than that, but only one season due to low ratings. If you can, I can't even conceive of it having low ratings. I remember seeing it. I remember not seeing it a lot, just a few episodes. So it makes sense that it only ran for one season, because I only saw it a few times. But I thought it was cool. And, I liked it better than Batman and Robin or Batman. That had Robin in it, right? But even that didn't last long. That was 3 years. I loved the Green Hornet more so than Batman and Robin. And I loved Batman and Robin. So this was double love, these two characters. So he also played in, he performed some guest roles in other things like Mannix, Ironside, Gunsmoke, Mission Impossible, The Big Valley, some westerns, obviously. And he stopped acting in 1982, but then he didn't. He did come back for a cameo appearance in 1993 with Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. That was 1993. He was asked to come back for a cameo in the 2011 The Green Hornet movie, and he declined to come back for that. But I guess officially he retired in 82, but then came back for that one cameo. He really didn't like acting. He saw himself as too shy and not really into maybe all the politics that go into acting and trying to get roles and all that stuff. It just wasn't his thing. So when he retired, he opened up a communication company and became reserve deputy for Los Angeles County. And yeah, did a lot of community related things, I guess. What is fascinating is that he and Adam West were really great friends. Apparently they were neighbors, I believe in Idaho. And interestingly, he died in 2016, Adam West died in 2017. He was 82. Adam West was 88. So they were great friends. And they died basically about 6.5 months apart from each other. So that, I found that interesting. But I guess what really, really shocked me in learning about Van Williams was that he wasn't truly into acting. He didn't enjoy it. He found himself too shy. And the other interesting thing was that the Green Hornet was basically a one-season run. And due to low ratings, I can't imagine why. It was a great show the few times I saw it. But sometimes great shows didn't run very long. Gilligan's Island ran only 3 seasons. In fact, Gilligan's Island was supposed to run more than 3 seasons. They were going to cut Gunsmoke. They were going to close down Gunsmoke. And they were ready to move Gilligan's Island into that time slot. But the CBS chairman's wife at the time wanted Gunsmoke to keep going. And so they ended up terminating Gilligan's Island, which was a great show. I wasn't that much of a fan of Gunsmoke. I would have rather had watched the Gilligan's Island show, and that only ran 3 years. And yet I remember more about Gilligan's Island, the Green Hornet, than some shows that ran for a long time. Gunsmoke ran 8 years beyond what it was scheduled to run for. 8 years. So 20 seasons altogether. And Gilligan's Island only ran 3 seasons. Batman and Robin only ran 3 seasons. And sadly, the Green Hornet only ran 1 season. So anyway, I found all that history interesting and sad at the same time, because it just goes to show you that some shows that stay in our heads didn't really survive that long when they were actually running. Very sad. Anyway, Green Hornet. Here's one last look at Van Williams, who portrayed the Green Hornet in the one and only season, 1966 to 1967. It's a shame it didn't run longer. But anyway, here's one last look at our figure. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.